Hi, this is the second in a series of shows that I'm doing with an expert on near-death experiences, P.M.H. Atwater. She's written 10 books on the subject. She's had 3 near-death experiences. She's one of the original researchers on the subject, and she's here in the Bay Area doing a lecture tour, and she agreed to this interview. So P.M.H., thanks for being on again.
Oh, it's fun to be back.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and we got through the first show okay without any electrical...
We managed to survive.
We did, without any electrical interference like
yes,
we had on
yes,
the show.
I promised you that would be okay.
And you fulfilled.
It is.
So, let's see, we began the show with a close-up of your big book of near-death experiences. And I'd like to quote from this book, The Near-Death Experience, the rest of the story, and I'm going to hold it up here for camera 2. And tell us why this book is important.
That's a summation of my work, 33 years of being in the field, based on nearly 4,000 adult and child experiencers. And it's sort of like Atwater Unplugged, because I come out and say what I never felt I could ever say before. I felt constrained that I couldn't really talk about all the things I found. In that book I do. Right. Now, you know, we normally think of a researcher, we think of some dull, bookish character who just states the facts. And when people come across you, of course they're blown away, because you're passionately involved in your research because you've experienced what you're talking about. Can you tell us briefly some of your experience with your research and how you've gone to authenticity in your presentation of yourself? Well, I want everybody to realize I never chose to be a researcher. I was told to do this in my 3rd near-death experience by the voice like none other. So there was no choice involved. This was my job, this was my mission, this was my duty. I felt. And looking back, I can honestly say to everybody and anybody, no human being with any kind of mind would ever choose to be a researcher in a pioneering field. It was crazy. And I got fried many times for my findings. It was difficult to do, but I did it with that passion and that drive because I could still hear that voice, the voice like none other, and filled with that presence. So I took my own 3 experiences, put them on a shelf in my mind, blanked them out, and became then an open slate on which other people could write their experiences. So what I came up with was not influenced by my own experience. I was very careful about that. Anything I saw, any findings I came to, I would, as often as possible, get in the person's home, talk to significant others, talk to the boss, the health caregivers, have sessions with them as well, then take whatever I found doing that and go to other cities or other states, different people, different ages, and test and retest, refine again and again. And I did that at least 5 to 6 times with every single finding.
What I meant to say was you're passionate in talking about your findings, not in your research. You're passionate about reviewing.
Yeah, because this is what I found. I'm a field worker.
Right.
This is what I actually saw and found. I didn't make it up. This is real.
You can't convince a skeptic, can you, or can you?
Well, it depends on the skeptic. Mostly no, but it depends on the skeptic. What I found with skeptics that I find is very interesting is none of them, not one on this planet, has researched the entire near-death experience with both children and adults the physiological and psychological after effects and over time. All of them have done piecemeal. All have done little bitty things, and they think that explains the whole experience. If you're just going to talk about what we often call the light show or the near-death experience, it will sound somewhat like other experiences, maybe ketamine, maybe DMT. But if you look further and look at those parts of the experience that have third-party testimonial afterward, you know, they find things they could not have possibly known that are verified later, and most of them are verified later. Right. And you look at the entire experience in context with a person's life, and then I'm going to stress again and again and again, you have to look at the after effects. If you're just looking at the experience, you're looking at half of it, you're doing superficial work. You got to look at the whole thing.
Right.
And again, physiological as well as psychological over time.
Right.
If you do that, then this stands alone.
So in other words, the after effects of DMT don't cut the mustard.
Oh, they don't even compare.
Yeah.
They don't even compare.
There have been books written about DMT as being the...
I know, I've read them.
Yeah, and so when people read the book, they think they've come to the Holy Grail, and then when you post...
When I read them, I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah, you post them on YouTube, and then the show on YouTube, and then people respond to the show and say, this is because of DMT, because of the book they read, but they haven't researched.
Yeah, the spirit molecule.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to mention it. Yeah, now, in your book, the near-death...
And I go into that.
Yeah, near-death experiences,
in
the rest of the story.
Including DMT.
Your dedication is interesting, and I'm going to read part of it.
Oh, okay.
And I found this really provocative. I'd just like to read 2 sentences of a little bit longer dedication, okay?
Okay.
I dedicate this book to the powers of darkness and light. Without both, creation story would not exist, nor would we. That's a provocative 2 sentences.
It's the truth.
Tell me what that means.
That gives us contrast. We're not in this world necessarily to be one. If we were one, there'd be no contrast. We would never learn. We would never advance. We're here to experience contrast. Our eyes are set up, and our faculties are set up to respond to contrast. That's what gives us muscles. That's what enables us to learn and grow. By learning and growing, by our own choices, by the law of cause and effect, that's how we become, I believe, what we were always meant to be. So that's how we learn and grow. We need darkness and light. I look at those people who have had dark times in their life and had to deal with a lot of rough stuff. Invariably, that's what enables them to really learn and really discover their muscles and discover what they're capable of doing and advance in ways that they never could have done had they not been challenged. You know, in the economic world, they always say that until you have a bankruptcy, until you lose everything you have, you can never be truly successtional. You need that contrast, you see.
Right.
The darkness and then the light.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I meant just exactly what I said,
yeah. I don't know what to say now that you've stopped.
Darkness and light serve us.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Wait, let me add to that. You know, when people have a near-death experience, I'm told, because I haven't had one, but they feel that they're home. Is that right? Many of them feel they're home.
Yeah, most of them do.
And they want to stay there. They want to stay there.
Yeah,
they want to come
do.
back. But there's the element of some of them wind up choosing their lives. Is that true? That they select who their parents are, what they want to be?
Well, now you're getting into esoteric and spiritual ideas and traditions, and those traditions tell us...
No, I want to know what the near-death experiences are about.
Okay.
Why would someone want to come from an idyllic space to a space that is cramped and painful, this earth?
those that are in my research base, that I have spent some time with. Specifically this one man who had multiple sclerosis. He's in a wheelchair. And he was very close to dying and staying dead, had had near-death experiences. And from those experiences, he had come back more at peace with his condition, more at peace with his life. And he said, I now know I'm here to teach other people patience. He came here in this deformed body with this condition to teach other people patience. Another man, also in a wheelchair, that I met, he was in his 40s. He had the most near-death experiences of anybody I've yet found. He had 23 in his life. He was born with a very severe condition, handicaps. He wasn't expected to live past 6 months. And he often, after that, went through other deaths and near deaths again and again and again. And so I asked him, why do you suppose you've had so many? And he said, it gives me the strength to keep going. I'm here to experience love. So people will give you different answers, but you get this sense that there somehow is a purpose or an explanation. What captures me so much is when the individual is talking about the near-death experience itself, and they're talking about the beings they meet on the other side, or relatives that have died and gone on before them, or in discussions with the light. They'll ask these questions. Well, why are there wars? Why are people die? Why are children tortured, and on and on and on. So they ask these big questions. Why? And they come back with this sense of that it's somehow part of a larger pattern, that what we are living here now, as you and as me, is only part of a much larger journey of the soul, the journey of the soul, that we are really a soul. You're not Mel, I'm not P.M.H. I'm a soul, you're a soul. And that the soul has its own will. And that will is different from our personality's will. And the soul has its own journey as well. That the soul never has left the greater reality, the greater creator, but in its own expression to know more about itself than it learns from its various projections. And if you want to think of the human being as being a projection of the soul, you can. There's other ways of talking about it. I really think that's the purpose of prayer and meditation, is that enables us more to join with the soul, our soul, and be in rhythm with what it knows and how it lives. So that's what I can offer you. You just come back realizing that somehow there's a reason for this, or there's a purpose to this. May not be what you think, may not be what all the stories tell, but it does somehow make sense.
Okay. You said that on the other side, in the afterlife, the other side of life, or whatever you want to call it, people can ask these profound questions and get answers?
And they get answers, and most of them do not bring the answers back.
That's my question. Why
They
not?
forget them.
Why?
They forget. I don't know why. They just forget them. I was one of the few that could bring it back.
Okay, I have a question. I asked Houston Smith, the religious scholar, I interviewed him on the near-death experience.
Oh, wow.
I said, if the brain flatlines, if there's no electrical activity in the brain and people experience an enhanced consciousness, a vastly enhanced consciousness.
Absolutely.
If the brain is flatlined, then where is the near-death experience taking place? If it's not taking place in the brain, where is it? And he cited Aldous Huxley's idea of the brain and the nervous system being a reducing valve. In other words, we're originally omniscient, but because we live in a three-dimensional world, we have to kind of dumb down our sense of awareness so that we can function here, because if we were aware of everything that we're originally aware of, we couldn't function. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It makes perfect sense. Yes, it does.
So what is the sense of coming to a world where we're dumbed down? To learn how to live?
To grow, to get...
the
curriculum is on the other side, but you learn it on this side.
Why? How can we learn in a dumbed down world?
Because here is where you get your muscles.
Because
there on the other side, you already know it, or you come close to knowing it, or there's that sense of knowing it.
Then why come here?
But here is where you put it to work. Here is where you actually use it. Here's where you build with it.
Can't you use it there?
No, it's simple over there.
Oh.
Here, it's tighter. It's more troublesome.
Yeah.
It's more difficult. Here you have conflicts.
Right. You're telling me there's reincarnation.
What we learn from the near-death experience is that there's no limit to life. When we come back on our body and we study books and traditions, we come across this word called reincarnation.
Coming back.
And maybe about 35% of, somewhere in that, maybe 40%, of near-death experiencers after the experience come to believe in reincarnation. In my third near-death experience, I experienced simultaneity. Everything happening at the same time in the same place. All the past lives, all the future lives happening at the same time as my present life. So today, if you think in terms of chronology, that's how we understand things. So I can talk in terms of chronology, but yet I have this knowing, this truth within me that clearly has shown that it's really not like that. It actually operates a little bit differently, and I'm lost for words to explain that to you.
You stop talking.
I don't know how to explain it to you.
Okay. These are my questions. I'm sorry.
Page after page of questions.
Well, I mean,
let me share something with you here.
All right. We're in our last, I think, 8 minutes. So.
Oh, well, I'll hurry. The most common phrase spoken by near-death experiencers after their experience is the same 4 words. I don't care where in the world you are. I don't care what language you speak. Same 4 words.
What are they?
Always there is life. Now look at that. Always there is life. That means there's no before life. That means there's no afterlife. That means there's no now life. What it means is we have always existed. We exist now. We will always exist. That means that life is ongoing. Life is always in some space, in some place, in some dimension.
What do you mean by life?
There is always life. We're always alive. We're always aware. We're always us.
Are you saying we're always conscious? Or are you saying we're always embodied?
We're always conscious. We're always who we are.
So consciousness...
So it doesn't matter what body you wear. It doesn't matter what space you're in.
Consciousness always is.
Us as who we are. Our memories, our thoughts, that's the real us. We are not a body.
Well, no, I'm concerned...
It's the real us.
No, I was told that, again, I haven't had a near-death experience, but I was told that once we die, one of the first things to go is ego. But I'm concerned about what exactly...
But you're still who you are. You're still your memories. You still
what's
know you're you.
What's the difference between ego and identity?
I think
the identity that you're
think
talking
of
about.
Ego as what we are taught on this plane, what we are taught about ourselves. And how we go through life, we come to realize that things happen or don't happen because of us. So therefore, we are this person, we are this strength.
Watch out for the mic.
And we are this personality,
Yeah.
we are this ego. We seem to be driven by our ego, our wants, our needs, our desires. And once you get into identity, which is different from ego,
Yes.
you come to realize that you're none of that. And you come to be propelled and influenced by that feeling, that sense within you of belonging to the universe, belonging to a greater reality. You're not propelled then by wants and needs. You're propelled by choices.
If we're part of a greater reality, then why do we feel separate from it?
Because we're still into the world of contrast, where whatever we see seems real.
If we
So
have,
we respond to that.
if we haven't had a near-death experience, how do we reconnect with Source, or our original oneness, if I can put it that
Do
way?
you want me to blow your mind?
Go ahead, please. And I will be quiet.
In all my research, 33 years, nearly 4,000 people, adults and children, I can say that the near-death experience is not any kind of anomaly. It's not. It's part of the larger genre of transformations of consciousness. Other experiences like shamanic vision quests, Kundalini breakthroughs, baptism in the Holy Spirit, spiritual experiences of all kinds, if they are intense enough, they will engender the same after effects or similar after effects to near-death experience. Again, you look at the after effects. If the after effects are the same or similar, they are life-changing after effects. That's what it's all about, is to somehow, some way, wake up and realize there is a greater reality, there is a greater you, there is a truer presence, there is a vibration, there is a consciousness, there's a way of living that is so wondrous that it overshadows Madison Avenue, television, and Walmart.
Okay. Thank you. Question.
Yeah.
Actually, I've forgotten what it was. I watched a YouTube offering in which Elizabeth Taylor talked about her near-death experience,
Yeah,
and she
she
met
had one.
Michael Todd or Wilding or whoever it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said when she came back, I can't remember what she said, but at one point she said maybe she longed for the other side or whatever, felt vaguely uncomfortable. But what I remember that she said was, at one point, she just kind of stopped, and all of a sudden she realized how beautiful the world is.
Yeah.
And how blessed she was to suddenly see that. In other words, to appreciate what there is. And again, I've not had a near-death experience, but I heard this from other near-death experiencers that, yes, the other side is nice, but we can experience it here by appreciating
The world's brighter.
the now.
Yeah.
What is the now?
That's a popular term I don't relate to. I don't relate to it because, to me, everything is oneness, everything is presence, everything is life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go with popular labels.
What would you call it?
They don't make a lot of sense to
Yeah,
me.
but Elizabeth Taylor was talking about something. How would you rephrase that? She appreciated the beauty of what there is. She really hadn't experienced it before. It was just a snap. That she didn't long for the other side so much. She dreaded dying, but, you know, she appreciated the beauty of this life that she had not seen before.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
Life is brighter. It tastes more vital.
Yeah. Do you long to die? Do you long to return?
No.
Oh.
No, because I feel like I'm already there. I mean, I'm there. I'm moving more and more into that sense of presence, and I'm there. No matter where I am, I'm fully there.
Right.
And everything is fully joy, and everything is fully bright.
Yeah. We've got 2 minutes left. When you anticipate your own death, what do you feel?
I'll lose this body and go on being me. I'll flow more into that joy and that peace that I already am. I'll be able to encompass more of that power. I'll be able to become a co-creator with the Creator. I just will simply move higher than where I am.
There are people watching this show who are afraid of death. Talk to them. We've got 1 minute.
Death is a doorway. It's something you walk through. It's a vibrational experience. There's no pain at death. For most people, there's nothing to fear. You move right up. You move right up and through your body and spread out into the air and beyond in other dimensions. Most people are met by loved ones who's died and gone on before them, including pets,
P.M.H?
including animals.
Yeah, we've got less than a minute. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for? We've got just a few seconds.
Joy.
You want to be remembered for joy?
Joy.
When people listen to you, that's what they feel. You know that?
Joy.
Yeah. You want to be
Because
remembered
life
for joy?
is joyful. I'm joyful. You're joyful.
Yeah. Well, I am with you, especially since you haven't blown out the circuits like you did on the first show 6 years ago. And that, I feel much better now that you haven't done that this time.
Yeah,
She blew out the circuits last time she was on.
No, it's just joy.
Yeah, P.M.H, I think we're about out of time. In fact, we are. I'm giving the wrap sign. So I'd like to thank you so much, and it's such a joy to be in the light with you, and in this light anyway, and perhaps someday we'll be in the greater light together.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I would welcome me on the other side, okay? If I go first, I'll welcome you, and vice versa, all right?
Okay, that would be great.
Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
P.M.H is full of joy, and I hope it's infectious when you're with her. I hope you've appreciated it, and I hope it will affect your life in a joyous way. So thank you so much for watching, and P.M.H, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a joy this time.